You are watching On Demand. Please do not try to vote or enter any competition or other interactivity in this programme, as it may not count and you may still be charged.
Hello and welcome to your Thursday Loose Women Live. Keeping you company this lunchtime alongside me, Jane Moore. It's Linda Robson, Carol McGiffin and Katie Piper. Coming up, as a landmark study shows that almost half of children do not stay with both parents throughout childhood, is the answer to pay cash bonuses to encourage couples to get married. And we've got three brilliant guests for you today. At 1 o'clock, Vicky Pattison will be opening up about taking on the biggest physical challenge of her life. And that's all in memory of her granddad who died earlier this year. And former Strictly star Flavia Cacace and actor Jimmy Mistry will be telling us about what prompted them to leave showbiz behind and make a huge life cha-cha change. See what I did there? But first things first. Now, Katie, you had a little bit of a health scare with your eye. And for everybody that doesn't know at home, just tell us a little bit about what happened.
Yes, it was 3 weeks ago and I just had some pain in my left eye, which I'm actually blind in that eye anyway. It's been like that for 15 years. So I'm kind of used to a moderate level of pain and discomfort. So I sort of ignored it. I think it's, I've got 2 kids, I was working, I was quite busy. And then the pain got worse and worse. And it was actually my husband, Rich, that noticed I had this kind of black dot in the middle of my eye. Which I was like, oh, my pupil's returning, how exciting. And then it got bigger and the pain just got intolerable.
Was it like a stabbing pain? Or?
No, it's just very consuming where you feel it all in your skull and stuff, and you can't tolerate light and things.
What does the black circle mean then?
Well, it wasn't a pupil, and it was actually a perforation, so a hole in the eye, and the perforation's gradually getting bigger. So I had an emergency procedure of a cornea transplant. So, someone else's cornea tissue put over the perforation to help it heal, or a bit like a graft.
And is that common with your injuries? Is that?
Yeah, I mean, it's something that I always feared might happen to me one day because I have a very thin surface on my blind eye, so it can be vulnerable to perforation. But
so you didn't do anything to make it happen; it just happens.
I think it was the stress of working with you. Yeah.
Thanks. Now I feel really bad.
But I'm back and I'm happy to be here and I'm in one piece,
But seriously, because you sort of skimmed over that, you went, oh yeah, and I had a cornea transplant, as if it's like an everyday occurrence. But tell us, I mean, so they ring around the country to find a cornea?
Yeah, I mean, there is a national shortage of tissue. I'm not sure about other organs, but I know with corneas there is. So you have...
so is it from someone that died?
Yeah, so deceased donors, and they go to eye banks. So then your surgeon, your consultant rings around eye banks trying to source tissue. And I think for a lot of people, donating eyes is something that is very personal and, religious reasons, spiritual reasons, some people don't want to do that, which is totally understandable. But they are very much needed for people like me. Yeah.
I mean, it's interesting because we've talked about organ donation quite a bit on the show over the years and how important it is. But
yeah.
I mean, for anybody listening who doesn't know, the rules have sort of changed in England, Scotland and Wales now. We now have an opt-out system. So that means that when you die, you're automatically considered for organ donation. But if you register to donate before you die, then you can actually say if there's things that you don't, particularly bits of you that you don't want to donate. But it is funny, I think people do sort of get a bit squeamish about eyes, don't they?
Windows to your soul, we could say.
But there's a bit of a benefit to it as well, though, isn't there? Hasn't something improved in your eye after the operation?
Yeah, definitely. Like the pain, the discomfort and the mild pain that I normally have is gone. And, when you're blind in one eye, you can't really judge depth and distance.
Yeah.
So it sort of helped a little bit. I can't see with that eye, but my peripheral vision is a little bit sort of better in crowded rooms. I can see a little bit more light and shade. So
everything's got an upside.
Yeah, I got my eye on you now. Yeah,
I know you have. Yeah. Do you know what though? I mean, we've said it before,
it's all my fault.
I admire you enormously because you are such a positive thinker.
Trooper.
An absolute trooper.
You are. Nothing phases you, does it really? It's like, I had to have an operation.
It's been so long. I just think I made peace with that. This is my life now. I made peace with that years ago, and I'm just really grateful to be here, and be well.
Well, we're really nice
to have you here.
Exactly, and it's really nice to hear that it went well, and to have you back. Now, it's been announced that the Queen won't travel to London to appoint the new Prime Minister next week. Instead, she's going to conduct the ceremony at Balmoral for the first time in her 70-year reign. Now, quite a few have raised sort of new concerns about her health over this, but others are applauding her for just finally putting her health before duty. And after all, I mean, she is 96 now, isn't she, Carol?
Yeah, no, I don't blame her at all, actually. And it might not even be about her health. She might just have looked at the choice of the two people that might be the next Prime Minister and thought, I'm not going down there to them. I don't care. They could come up here. So I don't blame her at all for that reason. But no, quite right too. I mean, I suppose she has the right to summon them wherever she is if she wants to. She never has
she's
before.
Always put duty first, hasn't she?
Always, and the whole of her life.
She's getting on a bit, so let them all come to her.
Yeah, but she's still doing it. That's the point. And she has the right to summon them to wherever she is in the world if she wants to. And she's never done that before. It's always been at Buckingham Palace. So yeah, no, good for her. I want, and if anything, makes her live longer. Oh, please. I want her to live forever. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I'm terrified of Charles becoming king and I want the Queen to just stay there. So
I think we all do.
Can we just prop her up?
Are you worried about her health, Linda?
I am worried about her health because obviously she's 96 now. She's not doing as many sort of duties as she was doing before because I think she's decided that it is time for her to sit at home, put her feet up and relax more, which she hasn't done before, has she?
Well, no, never.
And we say she's putting her feet up. She's still honouring the job.
Yeah.
She's still working. And she's got a really admirable work ethic. She's a good role model in that sense. And I actually think, can you imagine saying to your 96-year-old grandma, we want to meet up with you for lunch, but you come to us.
You have to come to us.
You wouldn't say that anyway, would you?
And I mean, recently, sort of around the time that Prince Philip died, there was definitely sort of noises from the palace that she was going to be stepping back more. And she's earned the right, hasn't she? And that's why, Prince William and Kate are doing a lot more duties to sort of
taken over more, haven't
fill
they?
in for her.
Yeah.
I mean, Queen Victoria, I think it's the first time since Queen Victoria, apart from one person, where it's not been done at Buckingham Palace. But King Edward VII apparently appointed Lord Asquith in a hotel room in the south of France. And it wasn't anything to do with
very stylish.
Wasn't anything to do with health or difficult circumstances. He just didn't want to interrupt his holiday.
Fair enough.
Oh, I get that.
Yeah, but you wouldn't
Me
get
too.
that from our Queen.
Get that. Quite right too.
Oh, right. Well, on a more serious note now, something else we want to do today is to pay tribute to beloved broadcaster Bill Turnbull, who has died at the age of 66. Bill announced his diagnosis with prostate cancer in 2018. In a statement, his family said it was great comfort to Bill that so many more men are now testing earlier for this disease. They added, Bill was a wonderful husband and father to his 3 children. His family and friends will miss how he always made them laugh and the generosity and love he shared with those around him. Our thoughts are with Bill's family and, of course, the very important message there to any men watching, get yourself checked. Very sad.
Very sad, really, really sad.
Yeah, lovely man.
His family, yeah.
Lovely man. OK, well, lots more to come on today's show. Our big debate about the news that almost a quarter of families in Britain are single-parent homes. With that in mind, should we pay couples cash bonuses to get married? More after this. Welcome back. In just a minute, as it's revealed that almost half of kids don't spend all their childhood with both parents, we'll be sharing our own experiences of growing up in single-parent homes. And at 1 o'clock, Vicky Pattison will be telling us how she's honouring her late granddad with a very special challenge, as well as, of course, talking about the incredible reaction to her documentary about her dad's alcoholism. But it's competition time first. Here's £60,000 up for grabs and a chance to be mortgage or rent-free for a whole year, Linda.
Woo!
Thank you very much. Kate Lawler is live in the beautiful North Wales for us this lunchtime. Hi, Kate.
Good afternoon, loose ladies. I am here in the beautiful village of Port Merion. It's absolutely stunning. I feel like I'm on the set of a movie. Just look at this place. Reminds me of Portofino in Italy. Not that I've ever been, but I've seen the photos. The houses are so colourful, it makes me want to paint mine yellow. And I have an equally colourful prize to tell you about right now. How do you fancy being mortgage or rent-free for an entire 12 months? ITV are looking for one lucky winner to pay their mortgage or rent up to the value of £18,000. I'm going to fall in the water if I don't step off. But up to the value of £18,000 for a whole year. Not only that, will cover your gas, electricity and water bills up to the value of £6,000 for a year and throw in £60,000 in tax-free cash. Imagine what you could do with all that extra money. Turn your home into an oasis like this one. It really is the prize that keeps on giving. The best way to enter is by phone. So pick up that phone, get your entries in now. Here's how.
For your chance to win, text WIN to 86060. Text costs £2 plus one standard network rate message. Go to the website. Entries cost £2. Call 09068 786060. Calls cost £2 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and phone number to DY35. PO Box 7558, Derby, DE1 0NQ. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close on Friday the 23rd of September at 3 p.m. Good luck.
Fun fact, Port Merion pottery was designed right here. I really shouldn't be in charge of expensive items like this, so I'm going to put it down and dip my toes in the water, ladies. Have fun!
Yeah. Oh, we're all very jealous, Kate. That's where we want to be. It looks so lovely. Now then, a landmark study has shown the changing dynamic of UK families. It reveals that almost half of children don't stay with both parents through their childhood, with separations becoming quite common. Earlier this month, there were suggestions of introducing a marriage cash bonus to encourage more couples to wed. Do you think that would help matters, Carol?
Well, I don't think it's the answer. No, I mean, paying people to get married doesn't mean to say they're going to stay together, does it? I mean, you know, people will do anything for money, and they might just get married for money. I do think, though, I don't know. I think it's too late. I think the genie's too far out the bottle now. I don't think we can change anything because society has changed, and one-parent families are basically the norm now. And when I was at school, as probably when we all were, I was the odd one out being from a one-parent family. It was like I never got into trouble because the teachers always said, well, Carol's from a broken home. I used to say broken home. And everybody else just had parents. And now if you go to school, I understand, if you're in a family with two parents, you're the odd one out. And so it's kind of weird because I think it's, in a way, it's good that it's more acceptable because there was a bit of a stigma attached to kids in the 60s. But that's good. But I do think that the way it's encouraged, and I think it is encouraged that people create families from one parent, and because you get better benefits for a start. Married people don't get as many benefits, and I think that is why it's changed so much.
How old were you when your dad left the family home?
He left when I was about 4.
Right.
So, yeah.
And so your mum had 4 of you on her to bring up on her own.
Yeah, and this was the early 60s, so it was way before benefits. There were no benefits. We had to rely on my dad leaving money. And
she worked
court,
well, didn't she?
And he never did. Well, she couldn't work, and she wouldn't work until we were all at school. So she had to wait a few years for that. So she really struggled. And when my dad didn't leave the money in the court, we had to go down and pick it up. It was £10 a week. And she had nothing. I mean, literally, she had nothing, and she struggled. So we were all sort of under 6, 4 kids under 6, and she was on her own.
That's so tough, isn't it?
It was so tough for her, and she did an amazing job, and she got us through it, and she did what she could. And as soon as she could go to work, she did. She went to work in a pub. which was important to her because she wanted to be at home when we went to school. She wanted to be at home when we came home from school. So,
I mean, you can't legislate, can you, for the human condition? I mean,
No.
it's like some people get married and it lasts, and some marriages you look and you think, my God, I can't believe so-and-so's put up with them for so long, or, you know, you just can't.
Absolutely not. And there are a lot of marriages that do break down, and some kids are better off out of that marriage.
Well, that's what I was going to say, because
Yeah.
had your dad stayed, like you said, your mum did a brilliant job and she threw everything she could at it.
She did.
Would it have been better if he'd have stayed, if he wasn't a decent guy?
I wouldn't be the same person,
Yeah.
I don't think. I think we would have been brought up in a very, very different way. And my mum was a disciplinarian, a real disciplinarian.
Well, she had to be before.
She had to be. Yeah, exactly right. And, you know, we all knew the difference between right and wrong. We all, you know, we were all brought up quite well. And I think I am the way I am because my dad wasn't there. So I was quite glad that I had an upbringing without him. But the poverty side of it, and it was at the time before there were any benefits, it did have an impact on me because and I've said this before as well, I don't have kids and I chose not to have kids because I saw my mum struggle so hard with 4 kids. I thought, that's not for me, and I'm not ever doing it, and I never have, and I've never changed my mind. So it did have an effect on me. But like, as far as kids are concerned now, it's easy. It's really easy for kids to be in a single parent family. And I know a lot of people are not going to like the fact that I've said that, but I do. And I also think that kids are better off in a 2-parent family. But that's never coming back. So there's no point in
Isn't it better off in a 2-parent family where they're happy? Well, not everybody's like ecstatically happy every day, but, you know, obviously if there's someone who's an alcoholic or beating you up or whatever, you're not going to stay in that situation.
Yeah. Stable and happy and in the right place for the right reasons.
I mean, I really respect any single mums or dads that are doing it alone, because, like you're highlighting there, it's a really hard job to do. It's a hard job to do in a team with a partner. So to do it alone is just really, really difficult. So I do respect that. But I think society has changed in that we're a more disposable society. So if things aren't working out or you hit a rough patch, you can go onto apps, you can go online, you can swipe past people, find new partners, you can have casual relationships. And maybe that wasn't as accessible years ago. And I think people might swap a life for what they think is a more exciting, better life. And 5 years down the line, run into the same problems with the next partner. So people are getting a bit more discarded.
It's too easy, isn't it? And they made divorce easier and all of those things. So you can
I
be
don't
disposable.
think the answer is paying for people to get married, because if the relationship ain't working anyway, it ain't working. They'd be better off to pay their electricity bills. More people are struggling with electricity bills than marriages, really, I think.
I mean, we did a poll on this. We asked you at home, do you think the government should pay couples to encourage them to get married? And only 8% of you said yes. So, 92% against it. I mean, I thought actually LG suggestion, no, they should offer free counselling sessions to couples to help maintain strength in relationships. I mean, that's probably quite a good suggestion when you first hit, you know, a bit of a rough patch, maybe.
Because Katie's right, though. You're absolutely right. People just go, oh, it's not really working out. Let's split up. And actually, I think if you've got kids and it is a silly reason that you want to sort of get out of the marriage, then you should work harder at it. You should stay for the kids. Obviously, if there's abuse or there's anything terrible going on, then not. But
I also think we are forgetting a whole other section of society where people choose to live a poly lifestyle. You know, people that don't believe in monogamy, they don't believe it's natural to be with the same partner until the end of your life, and they believe that's why conventional mainstream marriages do break down. And if you look in the animal kingdom, lots of animals live in the same way, where they have multiple mates, and that's their life, and that's the way they were built.
You think we're animals, then?
You're an animal, yeah.
But having said that, when I was in Costa Rica last week, whatever, the green parrot apparently mates for life, and when the mate dies, the other one dies within 3 days.
Ah,
quite a few animals are like that, I think.
Swans, they mate for life, don't they?
So that happens a lot with people as well.
But
I've got friends that mum dies, and then within a few weeks the dad dies, where they just live without each other.
I think I'd like to see the statistics on, because I think the word, we didn't ever talk about co-parenting when we were young in the 60s.
No.
I think there's a lot more co-parenting goes on now. So just because somebody's split up, it doesn't necessarily mean that, you know, that it's your situation where you don't see much of your dad
Well, there
at
are
all.
some great dads out there as well. Yeah, it's such a general conversation, isn't it? Everyone's arrangement is different.
We call it co-parenting. I call it kid sharing because it's like, oh, you can have them this week, I'll have them next week, and then everybody. The parents are getting the best of both worlds, aren't they? They're getting the free time, they're getting the kids because the kids are around.
Yeah.
You know, but it can go wrong because then you've got people who stop their other half.
Well, I think I'll leave it
children.
with Jenny here, who says marriage is neither here nor there. The bigger and most important point is a healthy family environment, and that can take many forms, not just marriage and the traditional family unit.
Yeah, all right.
All right, Jenny. Coming up next, it's been 6 years since Vicky Pattison revealed this on the panel.
If I'm totally honest, I don't really want kids. So
You're only 28.
Yeah, it's not on my radar anyway.
We'll find out why Vicky's actually had a change of heart on that next, after this. Welcome back to your Thursday Loose Women live. Alongside me, Jane Moore, it's Linda Robson, Carol McGiffin and Katie Piper. Coming up, Strictly couple Flavia and Jimmy will be revealing why they've turned their back on the limelight in favour of living in the country. Although they've not forgotten their Strictly roots, and they'll be showing us a few moves for old times' sake. But first, there are currently around 900,000 people living with dementia in the UK. It's a startling figure that's set to rise even further in the future. And it's something that our next guest has personal experience of after her granddad, David, who had Alzheimer's, died earlier this year. Here to tell us about the challenge she's undertaking in his memory, please welcome friend of the show, Vicky Pattison. Hello. Now, let's obviously we're going to talk about your granddad in a minute, but before that, let's just talk about the clip we showed before the break, because we're used to being haunted by old clips from Loose Women of things that we've said
Deep in the archive.
that we forgot we'd ever said. But you were 28 when you said that you didn't want to have kids.
I was. I mean, when I watched that clip, I was saying to you, wasn't I? It's the like youthful arrogance with which I say it. Like I have such courage in my convictions. Like I'm absolutely convinced I'm never going to change my mind. But yeah, I was young, and I had I had other priorities as well. But I think I discussed on my documentary like the underlying reasons why I was probably so convinced I wasn't going to have children, and that was that I was deep down so worried that I was just going to have children like me, who felt in some way broken or like they were predetermined to be alcoholics, just like my dad was. So, no, I've definitely had a big change of heart. I've learned more about the illness.
Well, you've changed, though.
Yeah, I have, Carol, you're right. I've grown up an awful lot. 28-year-old Vicky was quite good looking, though, wasn't she? I was a nice bit of kid.
You haven't changed a bit.
You still are. You still are.
Oh, thanks, lasses.
And also it's changed in terms of where you are in your personal life, isn't it? You've met Erkan.
Oh, I mean, that helps as well, doesn't
I've
it?
met him. He's lovely. He's really nice.
He's handsome,
isn't he?
and
Very
really
handsome.
Is
Yeah.
he a bit of a leveler, is he?
Yeah, like he sort of, I think when you're I'm quite chaotic and neurotic and a million miles an hour, and I overthink everything. It's really nice to have someone in your life who brings an element of peace and calm, and he does that.
And you need that.
God, do I not, Linda? Yeah, he's calmed us right down and made us enjoy a slower pace of life, which I've found to be very beneficial.
So have you officially changed your mind about the kids thing then?
Oh, I'm officially, Carol, like I'm going a million miles an hour. I'm freezing eggs and all sorts over here.
So there's still time for you, Carol.
Well, why do you have to freeze your eggs? Why don't you just, do what they usually do to have babies?
A little bit of mattress mambo.
Well, exactly. A bit of horizontal dancing.
So even though I love Erkan, and as much as I've told you he's great and all the rest of it.
Congratulations on your engagement.
Oh,
yes.
Thank you. God, it's all happening, isn't it?
It is.
Our relationship is still in its infancy. So we've only been together like 3 years, and I just know.
Don't tell me you haven't done it yet.
We're waiting for marriage.
Do you want some tips? Do you want to give me some tips?
Tell us what it's like. No, I think I just would love the chance to enjoy every stage naturally before I go and add like sleepless nights and a permanently crying bundle of joy.
Yeah, fair enough. So you're going to have, what's your plan?
So our plan is we're going to get married probably 2024 now. Let everybody who had COVID weddings cancelled catch up and stuff. But yeah, we're going to start the egg freezing process in October. First step is...
this year, October.
Yeah,
Oh, that's exciting.
So really soon, we're off to go and get a canal tested to make sure he's good.
Well, look, I'm not being rude, but aren't you a bit old for that now? Do they tell you you're a bit old for that now?
No, honestly, you're so right. Like, it's really scary. I was woefully...
I mean, you're only 34.
I know, but honestly, do you know my eggs are classed as geriatric?
Yeah.
How scary is that? And
Why do you
really
have to use that
scary.
word? It's just so rude.
It is a bit mean, isn't it? I feel like they're lovely little legs, but yeah, they are classed as geriatric. And I think I've talked about my journey a little bit on my Instagram, and I'm going to continue to do it a bit more, because honestly, I don't think lasses are aware of like just how difficult,
body clock,
yeah, and how difficult it becomes to get pregnant and conceive naturally and have healthy pregnancies after sort of the age of about 30.
Yeah.
You know? So no, I'm flying the flag for us.
Well, you're right. I had a baby at 41.
Go on,
Quite a few
yeah.
like-
Geriatric
yeah.
at 38 when I had mine.
What age do you
Geriatric
think
mum.
you'd want to do it then? Do you have a mind in your head? Or?
Katie, I'd love to, if everything goes to plan, you know, I'd love to have a baby, but just before I'm 40, so just after we're married.
Yeah.
But, you know, like, who's to say what's going to happen,
Exactly.
you know?
And let's talk now about your granddad, David,
Yeah.
because obviously you were incredibly close to him and you lost him earlier this year, so that's had a bit of an impact on you as well. So, but tell us about this walk you're doing.
Oh, honestly, such a lovely man. So my granddad was like the most amazing person, so active, so physically fit, like couldn't do enough with a proper family man. His family and his wife Mavis, they were just everything to him, you know. And he developed dementia at around 80 years old. And eventually we were left with no option but to put him in assisted living. And to see them lose like the memories they've spent a lifetime making is probably one of the most heartbreaking things you'll ever do for
It's
someone.
not the same person you knew, is it?
It's not,
different.
you know.
Yeah.
And I always say, like, well, I loved my granddad and I remembered the things we did enough for the both of us. But it's just still the most heartbreaking disease. So
It's harder in a way for the people that haven't got it.
Yeah.
Because you see the
see
person
it,
that you
yeah,
love
yeah.
disappearing.
Exactly. I mean, it's just difficult for everyone involved, and it's why I'm so proud to be working with the lovely guys at Alzheimer's Society. I'm doing a 26-mile trek for them on Saturday.
And you've done no training either, have you?
You're not wearing that, are you?
No, I'm not. I'm going to be wearing something a little bit more trek appropriate. But hey, man, last week I was eating pitas and hummus in Greece. I've done absolutely nothing. So
You need the carbs.
No training?
Yeah.
No training at all?
none, mate. I'm
Oh
fly by
my
the seat of my
God.
pants.
But
type
it's
of gal.
walking, isn't it? So you can just take your time and walk it.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's not a stroll, like, Linda.
No.
It's still 26 mile, but yeah, I'm going to give it a good go. I'm just really, I'm nervous, but I'm proud to be affiliated with them. They do amazing work at the Alzheimer's Society, not only for people suffering, but also the people who, like you say, are the relatives and are struggling in their own ways.
Yeah.
So,
And Arka's doing it with you.
yes, he is. He's got ropes in.
Oh,
Have you worn your boots in yet? Because the
Yeah.
last time you did it, you had literally lost your toe or something.
Carol, it was awful. Have you seen the picture of that?
No, thanks.
No, I will show you when we're done.
Yeah.
Definitely not.
It was this tiny, and I pulled the top off my toe, and there was this tiny other little toe grown underneath it. There it is!
Oh,
look,
no.
like
Oh,
a
no.
Russian nesting doll.
Oh, great! Thanks for that. Everyone's having their lunch.
Nice. No. Well, you brought it up.
I didn't say
You asked for it.
So have you then? Don't do that again.
No, I've gone up a size in walking boots, top tip apparently, and yes, I've been wearing them in on my dog walks
Proper
with my
socks.
law.
Well,
Yeah.
that's good. That's
That's
good. And
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
you say you've not trained for it, but you look pretty fit. Tell us where you are health-wise now, because obviously you talked in the documentary, the excellent documentary, I might add, about your worries about your relationship with alcohol. Where are you now with that?
Doing the documentary forced me to face an awful lot of uncomfortable home truths about my relationship with alcohol. And I've always worried that it was verging on dependency at times, you know. I've made a real conscious decision to drink more mindfully. And just be aware of everything that I consume, you know. So I am probably quite fit and quite strong now, and in a really good place, both mentally and physically. And I do attribute an awful lot of that to the documentary and everything I learned, but also Milo. God, he keeps us on me toes. Like,
Yeah.
You don't
How do
sit
you
down.
do it though? Because you think people at home are probably watching and wanting to do the same thing. And I totally understand what you mean. It's hard, isn't it? Like, it's normalised to drink in society. How do you be more mindful? Is it about saying certain days a week are the drinking days, other days aren't? Like, what do you do?
For me, Kate, it was all about realising me triggers.
Yeah.
I'm a really anxious person, and even though I seem like super social and all that,
Yeah.
like before I used to go to something where I knew there'd be loads of people, I'd feel that anxiety rising. So I'd think, I'm going to have a drink before I go, and I'll have a couple of drinks when I get there. And if there's someone I know that like me, I don't really like, I'll have more drinks, you know?
Yeah.
So I've taken conscious steps to kind of remove myself from those situations. I used to force myself to go clubbing. I'm not a clubber.
No.
I'm not, you know. I'm like a nice meal and a bottle of wine with good people type person. So I think spotting the signs and the triggers and the things that make you drink too much is a huge thing. Awareness, you know.
Yeah.
But that's
Well,
what
but for me, it's like the day ends in Y.
Every day. Don't take
Every
advice
day.
from her.
It's not
Just
that.
come on our next Loose Women night out. We're not clubbers either. It's so nice to see you back, and do come up again soon. And
Thanks,
good luck with the track.
Thank you.
Coming up next, former Strictly star Flavia Cacace and actor Jimmy Mistry will be joining us to talk about swapping showbiz for sheep and embarking on a life in the countryside. See you after this. Welcome back. Strictly Lovebirds, Jimmy and Flavia will be here in just a few minutes. They're going to be doing a little dance for us too. And some other exciting news to mention. After 2 years, we're welcoming our lovely studio audience back. Yay! Oh, yes, it's true. It's happening from Monday next week. So go to our website, itv.com/Loose Women. There's some new dates that have just been released, so head there for some more details to sign up. Yippee. It's competition time now, and back to Kate Lawler live in North Wales.
Woo!
Are you there, Kate?
Bryn Hawn Da. Yes, I was just practicing my Welsh. I thought I'd learn some things. I'm here. Bryn Hawn Da means good afternoon in Welsh. I'm here in Portmeirion where the sun is shining, and I have a fabulous prize to tell you about which could brighten up your day. How do you fancy being mortgage or rent-free for 12 whole months? Well, ITV is looking for one lucky winner. We're going to cover your mortgage or rent up to the value of £18,000 for 12 whole months. Not only that, we'll cover your gas, your electricity and your water bills for 12 whole months up to the value of £6,000. And to top it off, because we're feeling very generous, we'll also inject your bank account with £60,000 in totally tax-free cash. Just imagine what you could do with all that spare wonga. You could turn your garden into an oasis like this one. Go on a holiday. Maybe buy some early Christmas presents for the kids. But you've got to be in it to win it. And here's how you can enter our fabulous competition.
For your chance to win, text WIN to 86060. Text costs £2 plus one standard network rate message. Go to the website. Entries cost £2. Call 09068 786060. Calls cost £2 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and phone number to DY35, PO Box 7558, Derby, DE10NQ. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close on Friday the 23rd of September at 3 p.m. Good luck.
This place is absolutely stunning. All the big names have been here. Jerry Lee Lewis, Twiggy, George Harrison from the Beatles wanted to stay here. And in one of the watchtowers, which was so high up, his security said, "No, George, you drink a lot. We're worried you're going to fall over the balcony. You can stay in an apartment that's very low to the floor." And so he did. And they've said the same about me, unfortunately, as well. Back to the studio.
Thanks ever so much, Kate. Now, they met and fell in love on the Strictly dance floor, but almost 2 years ago, Flavia Cacace and Jimmy Mystery turned their back on the showbiz world, waltzing out of the limelight and into a more quiet life in the countryside. Here to tell us about life on the farm, please welcome Flavia and Jimmy.
Well, hello.
Squeezing.
Well. I didn't think I'd ever be asking this question of you two. How is life on the farm?
Amazing.
Busy, very busy.
Busy.
It is busy.
This is a holiday for us coming here today because we've got a day away.
Night in a hotel. It's amazing.
And who's looking after the animals?
We've got somebody that's very good. Yeah,
Very
local farmer's
capable.
daughter, very capable.
Oh,
So they're in good
yeah,
hands.
Did
yeah.
either of you have a background in farming before then?
No.
No.
Oh my God, that's really brave.
We used to have
They had
this.
a garden.
We had a garden. But we used to have this kind of running joke that, you know, we never, any family members want to buy us a present, do not buy us a house plant because we never were very good at keeping them alive.
Yeah.
We just weren't good at all about growing. I had a cat once in my life, but
I've always
that
had
was
dogs,
it.
but
So what animals have you actually got on this farm?
We've got 25 hybrid chickens.
Yes.
And we've got 8 rare breed heritage sheep.
Yeah.
And hopefully, we've got 2 dogs, obviously. They're kind of, live with us, obviously. And hopefully, we'll be
We're looking at
into
goats
getting
now.
goats.
So let's
That'll be the next thing.
just backtrack a bit here. So, Jimmy, you were, well, still are probably an actor.
Yeah.
Flavia, we know from Strictly. You meet on Strictly, fall in love, get married, whatever, and then suddenly you go. Most of us go, "Oh, I'll buy a house by the sea or something." You just went, "We're going to buy a farm." Tell us about the first time, the day you turned up there. Did you think, "What the hell have we done?"
Yeah.
We did. We actually moved. It was January the 20th. And it was
2020.
during 2020. It was during Storm Christoph.
Oh
no.
So we always had a really long trip to get there, and we were waiting to get the keys. As you do, you have to wait for the call. And we were sitting in this like petrol station, and the car was literally blowing.
The wind was
side
blowing
to
the car.
side, and the rain. And then we got there, and it was quite like emotional, a bit scary because we couldn't find the front door keys. We couldn't get into the garaging to get all our things in there.
And people hadn't lived there for about a year because it was a
very
second home,
overgrown,
so-
and obviously so much water had come down because of the storm. Like the gutterings were.
Couldn't you wait for the spring?
I know.
We tried, yeah. I mean, we tried to.
It took 8 months in the end
Because
to
of the
move.
lockdown, yeah.
Because we lost, as you do, you lose your buyer, and then you have to find someone else.
Yeah.
So it's in Devon, right?
Yeah.
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 So you moved from, were you in Surrey or
Yeah,
somewhere?
Guildford, just
Surrey.
outside London.
yeah.
So, and you swapped a 2-bedroom, well, a bungalow, right?
Yeah, we had a bungalow.
For a whole farm with
Yeah.
It's
acres and acres?
7 acres.
It's a
yeah,
small
it's a barn.
holding, yeah.
A small hole.
Yeah,
And
it's small holding.
it's got auxiliary barns which we've been renovating as well.
I'm so jealous.
Yeah.
Well, this is the thing. I think it's resonated with a lot of people who've always dreamt of doing something.
Yeah.
Going off grid.
Yeah.
That's it. And
What sparked the idea, though? I mean, what made you go, I know, we'll do something we can't do?
You were a bit wary of fame, weren't you?
Yeah,
You didn't
yes.
like fame.
Yes. That
Yeah.
Yes. I've in the past it was something that I always struggled with. But I think the whole when we came to this decision about going there was more about it was during the COVID, it was during lockdown. I think when everything ground to a halt. And we'd always had this vicarious hobby of going to look at houses, as you do, sometimes, what it's like. And we'd always joked about one day we'll have chickens or I'll grow a vegetable. And it was only at that point where we decided...
Just one.
Just one. Believe me, I've grown more now. But we got to a point where we said, well, what is it we really want to do now, And... that was it.
It just happened.
It just happened.
We were in the right place at the right time.
And now you're sort of segueing a bit of showbiz and this because October the 9th, Pavilion Theatre,
Yes.
Our Life at the Barn. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be like an audience with. It's going to be light-hearted, hopefully like a feel-good evening where we basically just talk about how we met, a little bit about our careers, and then how we ended up on a small holding and lots of footage.
You keep saying small.
And where can people buy tickets?
Be on the website.
I think on the Worthing Theatre's
Worthing Theatre
website, or you can visit our website
or you can
as well.
And you're going to be doing a bit of dancing, I believe.
A teeny little bit of,
She's made me dust my dancing shoes off.
Yeah, tiny little bit.
A little
Do you
bit.
feel rusty then?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Get older.
Hay that you were lifting.
Exactly. I mean, it's 12 years since we did the show, so, yeah.
Well, we were going to ask, actually, because you probably know Kay Adams, who is a loose woman. She's doing Strictly this year. So we have a former contestant and a former professional on the show. What advice would you give her?
From a contestant's point of view, I think the best advice is you've got to relax and enjoy it, because that will come through and get you further than if you really think about it too much, And I mean, you saw
the first night that would scare the life.
Yeah,
it is
scary. Really,
I ain't got a clue what I'm doing.
Yeah, it is easier said than done. I mean, we obviously have fun and enjoy it, but that is easier said than done.
Yeah.
When you're there with the lights, the audience. I think, like, you're right, the first night, it's the first time you get to hear what the audience sound like.
Yeah.
And it's quite overwhelming.
And they are the most uncomfortable seats in the world.
They're tiny, aren't they? They're little, tiny little seats.
Do you miss it, Flavia?
I still feel like a bit of a part of it. I mean, when I left, I had to have a bit of a break from it. I couldn't watch it, when you've sort of been involved in something for so long. Now I actually do enjoy, commenting and doing some of the choreography corners on It Takes Two and BBC Breakfast News. And I do enjoy watching it now, a few years, down the line.
Please tell me you still dance in the kitchen together and stuff like that.
Couple of glasses of wine. How many bodies?
No, you help me with the classes.
We do,
I do a lot
actually.
of teaching, and I do rope you in for the couples
Yeah,
class, so it's good fun. Yeah.
I've still got it.
But you've always loved animals. I vaguely... Didn't you train as a dog groomer?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I've always loved animals. Initially, it was kind of dogs. I was quite obsessed about dog psychology, and then I couldn't have a dog because obviously touring, competing, and all of that for years. And eventually, we got our two dogs, Pablo and Zach. So I was very happy.
Now she's let loose.
Now I've let loose, and now it's like
It's
chicken
gonna get
shit,
crazy, I'm
anything
sure.
that's got 4 legs and a tail. I'm just
exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
I
it is.
love
It sounds to us all like you're living the dream.
Yeah.
And it's you're both beaming from ear to ear. You obviously love it. So, good luck with the show as well. And Flavia and Jimmy are going to do a little dance to end the show for us now. Get into position. Tomorrow, star of EastEnders and Doc Martin, actor Joe Absalom will be here. But now, ending the show in fabulous style, it's Flavia and Jimmy. Yay!
Bailando mi bugalú, Micaela se pasó. Ay, 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 Micaela se botó. Que se botó, Micaela se pasó. Ay, 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 Micaela se botó. Micaela cuando baila.